Hello, I'm Karen Brady from PaTTAN Harrisburg, and today I will be sharing some background on vocabulary instruction and an instructional vocabulary routine that you can use with students to teach powerful vocabulary words. Who are we at PaTTAN? PaTTAN is a training and technical assistance network who supports educators to build their capacity to serve students who receive special education services, and we support the efforts of the Pennsylvania Bureau of Special Education. Our goal is to have the IEP team begin with the general education setting with supplementary aids and services before looking to a more restrictive environment. Let's start by reviewing the theoretical model of the simple view of reading developed by Goff and Tumner in 1986. Since then, this model has been supported by a strong body of evidence. The simple view of reading provides us with an equation for reading comprehension. Essentially, reading comprehension is a product of word recognition and language comprehension. Word recognition and language comprehension are equally important. It is important to note that it is a product and not a sum of these two pieces. Word recognition times language comprehension equals reading comprehension. Let's use some numbers to help us, with 0 being no evidence and 1 being evidence of. So if a student is unable to decode the text on the page, we would give word recognition a value of 0. Perhaps that same child has robust language at the listening level, then that would get a value of 1. However, 0 times 1 is 0. 1 just can't bring language to the table. 1 needs to be able to read the text off the page. Another student may be a strong decoder and has a value of 1 in word recognition, but weak in the area of language comprehension, a value of 0. 1 times 0 is still 0. When a student has word recognition and language comprehension, then 1 times 1 is 1. And we have a student who reads with reading comprehension. We may think we could say a student has 0.5 in word recognition or 0.5 in language comprehension, and that is still 0.25, which is still not 1, which is not adequate for reading comprehension. The simple view of reading represents a complex idea. Both word recognition and language comprehension is equally important to reading comprehension, which is the goal of reading. There are subskills that help support word recognition and language comprehension. We can look to Hollis Scarborough to help with those supports. For word recognition, that includes phonological awareness, decoding and spelling, and sight recognition. These subskills become integrated over time to become increasingly automatic. In language comprehension, subskills include background knowledge, vocabulary, language structures, verbal reasoning, and literacy knowledge, which become increasingly strategic. This mastery of these subskills, combined and integrated, lead to a skilled reader who can adequately comprehend. Today, we will be focusing on vocabulary and an explicit instructional routine to help with this subskill. Building vocabulary can happen in many ways in a language-rich classroom. Students learn vocabulary from classrooms that use robust language and everyday speech. Teachers reading aloud to students and having students read independently exposes students to uncommon content words that we don't normally use in speech. Teachers also prioritize vocabulary words for direct, explicit instruction by evaluating the utility and selection of those words. Teachers can help students see relationships among words by sorting words by category, analyzing features of related words, and scaling words by likeness or degree. We are going to be looking at tiered word selection and an explicit routine to teach these words. Why would a teacher include explicit vocabulary routines in their instruction? The impact of explicit instruction of vocabulary has been shown to have a positive effect on student performance, where a student's achievement can increase by as much as 30 percentile points after receiving direct and meaningful vocabulary instruction. According to Isabel Beck and colleagues, students are exposed to 3 tiers or levels of vocabulary. We can use this tiered model to determine what words are important to just use, which are imperative to explicitly teach, and which are specific to content area language. We will be focusing on the Tier 2 words today, words that are rich and useful, that have high utility and transfer to other content or subject areas. These words will use a deep instructional routine to help students own these words in their reading, speaking, listening, and writing. Tier 1 words are usually not taught. This is the language that is commonly used in speaking, like chair, bed, happy, house. However, you may have students who are English learners who may not have had this advantage and may require instruction in connecting their language with English. Tier 2 words are those that are general in nature, but are often found in print rather than in speech. Words that are usually academic, but carry throughout the day. For example, realistic can be used across settings. For example, in art class, when speaking about a 3D picture. Wow, that drawing is so realistic. Or in social studies, a realistic example of legislation in action. Or even in geometry. The attempt to fit a square peg in a round hole is not realistic. Usually these words have a synonym or a simpler phrase that can be used to describe what the new word means. Realistic means can happen. The point is that these words are used across settings and are the most common in school and learning. We must focus here. Tier 3 words are those that are specific to content and understanding the key concepts that are being learned. These words are those that are commonly pointed out as those to teach in textbooks. The teacher must determine if the word is worthy of direct, explicit instruction to build background knowledge. Young children love to use big words. Paleontologists, brontosaurus. Words within nonfiction read-alouds can be of great benefit in building these types of words. The words that will carry students through and across subject areas are Tier 2 words. Though the others are very important, Tier 1 words usually don't need to be taught explicitly. Tier 2 words require explicit instruction, as does Tier 3 words. Let's determine how to find Tier 2 words. When selecting words, select words that are not already familiar to the students and are critical to understanding the passage. These words would be words that generalize to other areas of the curriculum and will be helpful to future exposures. One would select words that are appropriate for the grade range. Teachers should feel free to use their best judgment based on an understanding of their students' needs in selecting words to teach and emphasize on what is important. Pay attention to those words, whether they meet the criteria for a Tier 2 or not. That may require some attention for students to understand the passage. According to B. Mueller, the average student entering kindergarten knows about 4,000 root words and will learn 800 to 1,000 new word meanings each year through 6th grade. With this in mind, researchers generally agree that in primary grades, about 10 words per week can be taught in depth. The rest would be learning with less formal exposure during listening and reading through read-alouds, independent reading, and rich conversation. One would select about 3 to 5 words per reading selection to teach in depth and explicitly. We can find Tier 2 words in read-alouds, in core reading materials, or words from content area instruction in math, science, social studies, health, and physical education, and the arts. The key parts of explicit instruction are I do, we do, you do. Vocabulary instruction is no different and should follow this I do, we do, you do model. This vocabulary acquisition lesson plan is a routine that can guide direct explicit vocabulary instruction. This plan and an annotated version of this lesson plan is located in the YouTube description of this recording. Here the teacher would use this plan to introduce the word to be taught explicitly prior to reading a text. There should be close attention to the pronunciation of the word by syllable if appropriate. The teacher would write the word and attend to any spelling features, part of speech, any meaningful parts of the word, and etymology or word origin. The students would pay attention to the phonological form of the word and say the word out loud. The teacher would provide a student-friendly definition using terms and references that students will understand. The teacher would then use the new word in the context of a sentence and then provide students opportunities to use and apply the vocabulary word in a complete sentence. Then the students repeat the word. Let's do an example with the Tier 2 word, remarkable. Step 1. Our new word is remarkable. The teacher asks the students to say remarkable. The students say remarkable. The teacher writes the word remarkable and shares that the word has 4 syllables. Re-mark-a-ble. The teacher explains that the word remarkable comes from French with 2 meaningful parts, remark and able. Remark means to mark or take note of. It is the act of noticing. The suffix able means fitting or suitable or worthy. So the word remarkable means worthy of taking note. It is an adjective. Step 2. The word is remarkable. Say the word remarkable with me. Remarkable. Step 3. Then the teacher provides a kid-friendly definition. The word remarkable means something is amazing, out of this world. Step 4. The teacher uses the example in context of a sentence. Someone might say that the football player's speed is remarkable because he is so fast. Someone might say that the outfit you are wearing is remarkable because of all the colors. Step 5. The students now interact with an example and uses the story frame. I think blank is remarkable because blank. Here's an example. The baseball game was remarkable because the outfielder jumped 3 feet to catch the ball in the 9th inning and won the game. Step 6. Say the word with me again. Remarkable. Direct explicit instruction for Tier 2 words is a robust way to teach vocabulary in addition to learning words indirectly through oral language and reading books in classrooms. Vocabulary words are not owned by students unless they have multiple exposure to the words, have had an opportunity to explore the words, and use them in their speaking, reading, and writing. I hope the routine today was helpful, and let's stay connected. Please like us on Facebook, and you can also find us on Twitter. And please check out our PaTTAN YouTube channel with videos on evidence-based practices in education. This is Karen Brady, thanking you for watching this video.